Welcome to the Top 200 podcast with your host, Herschel Foran.
What's up, everybody? It's Herschel Foran from High School Top 200. Welcome back to the Monday Morning Media podcast. I'm Herschel Foran. I run High School Top 200. Jump on all my socials to keep up to date with everything that's happening in First 15 Rugby. TikTok and Instagram, it's HS Top 200. And then on Facebook, it's High School Top 200. And then if you want to subscribe, it's a $5 subscription. And just go into hstop200.com and sign up for $5 subscription. I know it's only $5. I know you guys spend a lot more on coffee each week or each day, because I know some of you are doing 3-4 cups a day. And just help a brother out. You know, just $5 a month, all the stuff that you need to know from First 15 Rugby around the country. And I'll keep you up to date with the rankings and all that kind of stuff. This week, we're doing changing the rankings also of the schools, which is done every single week. And then as well as the year 12s get changed, and there's going to be a pretty big change in the top 200 itself as well, because there have been some things that have come up around the country with some different games, and also people put themselves in different positions. So there's going to be a big change, more so in the top 5 of the player rankings. Go and have a look at I guess all the scores that are going to be up. They're going to be changing the rankings for the teams. The Moascar Cup changed hands with Rotorua Boys coming up here to Hamilton. Beating Hamilton Boys and taking the Moascar Cup. And I'll talk about that too, because I don't think we give the Moascar Cup a lot of respect for exactly what it represents and how it can change the landscape here in New Zealand in terms of First 15 Rugby, because that is our equivalent of Ranfurly Shield. So I'll talk about that. But first off, we'll talk about this thing, and I get sick of it. I get kind of annoyed at when the subject comes up, so I don't want to. I know I always say that I won't talk too long on it, but I probably will. So we're going to talk about the under 18 rules, and this is what annoys me, is that saying year 14 is misleading. Saying year 14, or someone saying that a kid is year 14, is misleading, because automatically the people that don't follow anything high school, or that don't have high school kids in there, or don't even think about their own kids if they were going to do year 14, don't think about the fact that these are 17-year-old kids turning 18, not 18-year-old kids already turning 19. And I'm not saying that there haven't been in the past these kind of things that have happened, but I know that this year, like, there's only one player that I know that is 18 turning 19 this year, and he's not on my rankings, and he's here for educational reasons. And so, like, to automatically think that these kids or this school is cheating because they have year 14 players that are 17-year-olds who turn 18, who are pretty much the same age as the other kids on the other side of the field, is really misleading. And it's funny how the news will talk about keeping these kids safe, or making sure that these kids are not on TV or not broadcasted, because, you know, we want to be able to protect our kids, but they come out and say it or present it like these kids are the ones doing bad, and these kids are the ones that are cheating, or these schools. It's so strange and it's so weird. I also get annoyed at the fact that when I get annoyed when these people talk about how they want to protect kids, but they're just really not. That's just what annoys me. And presenters presenting it should give more information on it. And not just call them year 14 students. That's why I always call them young year 13s. I call kids that can come back who have another year of eligibility under the under 18 rule, I call them young year 13s. Because they could do another year. I know kids that have come back because they chose a different route and they just needed a few more credits to make sure that they can get into the university university classes that they needed for the next year. And it was going to take them 6 months to do it. So they just stayed for that and and so I don't understand why it's hard for people to even understand what that kind of means in terms of the kid's future. And everyone thinks that when someone comes back to play rugby or to better their chances of life, that all they do is just come to school and play rugby. Like, they don't get involved in other stuff, or they don't participate in other things that are part of the school. I think that they're painting this real bad picture of who our kids are and what our students are. And they don't give them the benefit of the doubt of kids that are just trying to better themselves and better their lives. And coming back to school and let's talk about in terms of we'll just talk about the going to the big schools or going back to school to better your position in terms of getting into rep rugby and being signed by a franchise. All right, so I will take something like the under 20s. If we just talk about under 20s, right, and this is kind of where most of the boys will continue on to Super Rugby after the under 20s. And people think that the boys don't know that the percentage is really low of making a professional career of this. The boys know, but there's still a percentage that they can work with, and they just train and hope that can one day be them. They're not only just doing rugby, but rugby is a big part of it because it means something to them. They have this idea that it's like they've brought the Avengers together and all these kids don't know each other and they've just brought them together to make this team. It's like, no, most of these boys have grown up together, have come through school together, and there's probably 2 or 3 guys that have come in at different times and they've made up the team, but they all still know each other. And so the argument of going to a big rugby school actually is true, and it does work, because when you go to a bigger school, you're in a better competition. When you're in a better competition, you get to play against better teams from around the country, which makes you better, because that iron sharpens iron kind of thing. So you don't get better playing teams that you win by 50, 60 points. You get better because you're playing alongside guys who are better, and you're playing against guys who are also better or at the same level as you. So you're all getting better at one time in one competition. That's why the Super 8 is so successful. That's why the 1A is so successful. That's why the Mars Toyota Championship is so successful as well. Is because, and the CNI is getting up there as well, because these are all Class A top rated players within the country, all playing against each other in these different competitions. And then those are the ones that kind of make it to the top. So I thought about it, and an easy way of sort of explaining this. And this is guys that have left school. Okay, so these guys are all under 20s. These guys are all going to the World Rugby Under 20s Championship, and these are guys from this year. So Sean Kempton, right? Sean Kempton. He was a player, and he's a hard out country boy. And He came from Selwyn. Small school, good rugby program, a combined school. That's one guy, all right? Then you got Manu Letu from the Crusaders, and he went to Christchurch Boys, so a big school. Then you have Eli Odenryan, and he's from Palmy Boys, plays for the Crusaders from Palmy Boys, another big school. Tamiano Alu, a guy from Tokoroa, went to Sacred Heart College, which is a big school. He's in there. Rob Faleafanga plays for the Blues from St. Peter's College, another big rugby school. Dane Johnson from Fielding, plays in Taranaki, plays for the Chiefs, another guy. Fielding, big rugby program. Sika Pole is another one. Came from St. Peter's, played alongside Robson Faleafanga, and went to St. Peter's as well. Big rugby school. Logan Wallace came from Palmy Boys, big rugby school. All in under 20s. This is just the front row. Jaden Sa, another one from Christ College, plays up here for the Chiefs in Taranaki, big rugby school. Josh Tinglad is another one. He plays down in Otago, but he's from Sacred Heart College in Auckland, big rugby school. Aisaki Vakasio Ola, who is from Katikati College, wasn't actually seen because he was at Katikati College, went to Tauranga Boys for his last 2 years, made New Zealand secondary schools, now in the under 20s. We had to go to Tauranga to do it. If he had stayed in Katikati College, probably wouldn't have known him. Honest truth, probably wouldn't have known him. He knew and realised, he had the realisation. Him and his older brother went over to Tauranga Boys, same thing. Katikati College, couldn't do it, had to come to Tauranga Boys. Another boy from Fielding, Moascar Basin, another one from Fielding, Old Moascar Basin, plays for the Hurricanes. From the CNI, big rugby school, he's in there. Mika Fale, St. John's College High School from the CNI, another guy, big rugby school, big rugby program. Ollie Mathis from Hamilton Boys, from Thames, had to come to Hamilton Boys, another big rugby school guy. Caleb Woodley from Sacred Heart College, another guy. He is an interesting one because he was a young year 13, decided not to come back, ended up showing up for the Māori under 18 team the next year, and to me was the biggest reason why they beat the New Zealand secondary schools, and he's come through that way, came from a big rugby school. Finn McLeod from Christchurch, he went to Christchurch Boys, another one, big rugby school. Dylan Pledger from King's High School down in Dunedin, big rugby school. Charlie Sinton from Tauranga Boys, big rugby school as well. Jai Tamati, another one from Rotorua Boys, big rugby school. I mean, I don't know how many of these guys, everyone here is from a big rugby school. Selwyn Combined was the first one that's probably not a big rugby school, but is getting there because they're playing in the top competition in Christchurch. So I don't understand. I don't understand where, like, there's this argument, right? And Scotty Stevenson and Israel Dag, both of them pissed me off, and it annoyed me so much. Because Israel Dag was kind of in the same situation most of these boys are. But they keep saying, and this is the old thing that people say, if you've got the talent, you'll be found. If you've got the talent, you'll be found. Now, I knew that Israel Dag went to Lindisfarne College. Lindisfarne is a private school in the CNI competition. If you just do a quick Google search, let me see how much it is to go to Lindisfarne College, right? Now, if you don't know where Lindisfarne is in the Hawke's Bay, it's in Hastings, and when you go to Lindisfarne, even when you go into the grounds, it's a beautiful, beautiful school. It's really cool. I even like how the way that they've set it up in terms of having the main field right in front of the gates. That's the opening that you see. Rugby is the first thing that you see when you go through those gates. So, like, to me, that tells you everything you need to know about a school like that. Like, they're proud of their rugby program. They're proud of where they're at in terms of what they can provide for your boy straight away, which is he can go to school for sports and get a great academic, there's a great academic achievements if you go there. Now, it's reported, and this is Google search, right? Just reported 12,650 per year just to go to Lindisfarne College. So, like, this is not like just an easy school to go to. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to go there. Now, either Israel Dag's parents sacrificed a lot to get him there by paying that kind of money, or because I know that he went there as a year 9, and the story I heard was that he was naughty. He was a naughty kid, great at sports, naughty kid. His parents wanted to get him out of there and thought, we'll give him a better opportunity if he went to a school like Lindisfarne. That kind of sounds familiar because most islanders and Māoris who come from poor areas, who have kids that are good at sports, are now sent to King's College, Sacred Heart, St. Kennigan's, St. Peter's, St. Paul's Collegiate, Whanganui Collegiate, like to all these private schools, St. Andrews. Like, you got island kids that go there, they get ridiculed for going in there because they just go, oh, you're just there for rugby, and you just don't give them the benefit of the doubt that they want to change their lives, and the parents think this is a great idea for them, or great opportunity for them to change their lives. Yet just the normal public go, oh, you just want to go there for rugby because you're saying that this is how they're going to get out. I was like, yeah, they've seen the percentage and they think this is what I'm good at, maybe I can do those percentages. Israel Dag on the other hand says in that little interview thing that him and Scotty Stevenson were having a chat at on their sports show, they were saying if you're that talented, you'll get spotted. By the sounds of things, he wasn't supposed to be going to Lindisfarne College, but he was at a place where he could get spotted. The structure of the school was different back then, but he was in a better place he was in a better school, in a better place to better himself as a person, and hopefully something will happen with sports. So the same dream that he's telling kids and parents, look, it's not worth it. If you have talent, you're going to get spotted. Yet he's taking the same route that he's telling other parents and kids not to do. Because it's not always 100%. It's like, no, it's not 100%. But it's better. It's pretty much better than the situation that I'm in right now. And I've been offered an opportunity to go somewhere else in terms of scholarship. And we have decided as a student and parents, yes, I'll send my son there. But you, Israel Dag, are telling these kids, no, just stay where you are if you're going to get spotted. You didn't stay where you were. Now, Scotty Stevenson, all I know about him is that he went to Auckland Grammar and he's on TV and he talks about rugby and whatever. Fine. So I Google searched him. I didn't know he was from Whangarei. Or just outside Whangarei. But he didn't want to go to school anywhere up there. He decided to go to Auckland Grammar. Was that for a better opportunity? Because it kind of sounds like what everybody else is doing in the field that they want to be in, like rugby. Now, if you want to be a rugby player, you go to where it's best. You go to where the opportunities are. You don't stay where you are. Because all these boys that I read out on the New Zealand under-20s list for this year, none of them stayed where they were from. They all went to the best school there. For rugby, what they want to do. Never mind the percentages. They're not just doing rugby and that's it. They've got more talents than just being rugby players. Which is the other thing that really annoys me. But for Scotty Stevenson to go to Auckland Grammar from Whangarei, and for Israel Dag to go to Lindisfarne to sort of set himself up in a position where maybe because he's such a good sportsman that this school would do something for him. But you're telling the people, you just stay where you are. If you have the talent, you're going to get spotted. Now, I have this thing because they also said, oh, if it's going to be about education, just leave schools to do the education thing. And I kind of thought about that, right? And if we take that argument and go, well, if you just leave sports, if you take sports out of it, because that's sports, that's, leisure and stuff like that, and you leave it to education, my question is, take sports out of it, why don't you just take music out of it? Why don't you take drama and acting out of it? Why don't you take art out of it? Because all those things are not guaranteed, and I bet you their percentages are smaller than what becoming a professional rugby player is. Being a musician, I don't know much people that want to be musicians, and there have been musicians that have studied music in high school and have studied the arts in high school. Because you know what they say about arts degrees, right? Is that it's a waste of time when you get an art degree in university, and most of the time they don't really use it. But you want to study that in school. That seems like leisure to me. Why don't we just take drama out? We have more rugby players than we have actors and actresses. We've had more rugby players produced. We've produced way more rugby players than actors and actresses and, directors and stuff like that. It's just like, cool. There's not a lot of Taika Waititis out there or Lords out there, or, it's like, how did acting and stuff like that help a lot of our kids and a lot of our dancers and a lot of our, artists and stuff like that? Because we've got more rugby players than that. We got more league players than that have made a living out of it, and that have led them to be other stuff, taking that opportunity as being rugby players and league players and use their networking in those areas to be something else. So if you want to take sports out, I would say take out music programs. Take out the acting programs. Take out the drama programs, the arts. It's not really education. No accountant went in with his violin and said, hey, can we play you something, eh? Hire me straight up. Oh, so I've just got my trombone. Do you reckon I can be an architect here? I'll play you a little symphony about it. Got my cello. Got my cello right here. I'll be a surgeon tomorrow. Watch this. Let me do some acting, and then if I can act right as a doctor or a lawyer, can I be one for real? Where's the logic in that then? I do know though, and I've seen it all the time, and it's happening this year for Marlborough Boys, it's happening this year for King's College, it's happening this year for St. Kennigan's, it's happened so many years for Hamilton Boys, it's happening this year, it's happening right now for Rotorua Boys because they just won the Moascar Cup, that when you're first 15 or your major sport for your school, when they're winning, your whole school's dynamic changes. You're proud to be from that kura. You're proud to be from your school. You're proud to wear your uniform. You're proud to jump on the bus or on the train with that uniform and look at everybody else and say, yeah, we'll smash you guys at rugby. We're a way better rugby school. Some kids don't even think about the fact that what their science program has, all they know is that we smashed your guys' school on Saturday, we go to a better school. The morale of a school jumps up based on the fact that your rugby team is doing good. Now, I've never seen that with someone doing a great production of like Willy Wonka, and then all of a sudden everyone's going, yeah, we got this Willy Wonka prize, son. What are you gonna do now? Doggo, you see me on stage, bro? No one's got like pride for that. So how can you say take sports out of schools? And I'm not just talking about rugby, I'm taking all sports, because this is what they were saying, leave education to the schools and take out sports. It's like, cool, take out all those other programs. Do you realize how much people funded all these other programs at these schools? Because they were there. You want to take sports out of it? Take all the other programs out of it. That's not the real world. So like, it really does annoy me. Both of these guys. Israel Dag to me worse. Because he's the brown dude telling other brown kids, you don't need to go anywhere, just stay at your school. And I'm gonna name a place that I know pretty well of Tokoroa. Narawa here. Te Aomuru in some cases, like George Dyer, who's from Te Aomuru, who went to St. Paul's Collegiate, wouldn't have made it out of Te Aomuru. It would have been so much harder. Guys from Tikawiti don't stay in Tikawiti. They go to Hamilton Boys or they go to New Plymouth Boys. Guys from Taumarunui don't stay there. Guys from Marston or Martin, most of them don't stay there. They go to bigger schools. Guys from Levin go to bigger schools. Where better opportunities are, not even just for sports, for even other things, educational purposes, alumni purposes. So it annoys me so much that like these two take this avenue and Israel Dag benefited from it. Strange, man. He's telling all the other bros and all sorts and doctors like, don't worry, man, just stay at your school. Don't worry if they offer you a scholarship. Don't take it. You'll get discovered if you're good enough. Okay, let's say he's not good enough. And he just plays rugby, he plays in the first team. But he gets to go to St. Kennigan's. He gets to know a bit more about what other people's lives are like. How studying can change his life. How education can change her life. Through the sports avenue. And never thought about university before, but now they're thinking about it because all their mates, all the other parents of all their friends have gone, hey, this is how you can do things. Never thought about university before, and other parents of the other kids that go to that school have said, come, I'll show you how to do this. They go to their parents and explain to the Islander parents or the Māori parents, hey, this is how you do this, help them out, let's get them to this university. It's not just rugby, there's a whole community around all these places. You, Israel Dag, was part of that community. You were sent there to be a part of that kind of community where you could change your life. And now you're telling all these other fellas don't do it. It's not worth it. The percentages are low. Oh, you benefit from these percentages too. What are you talking about? It's so annoying, bro. How can you do that to these kids? How can you, bro, cuzzy, whatever, and then you tell these kids, don't try it, bro. The percentages aren't right. Cuzzy, you're benefiting off these percentages. You're talking on that radio station, and you came on TV because of these percentages that you beat. You think you're on TV and you're on the radio station because you're from Hastings? No, it's because you're All Black, brother. Also, you played for the Hurricanes for years. You played for the All Blacks. You were in there as you were people's favorite player, bro. And you're telling them, nah, percentage is too hard. You guys don't know. It's like, no, they know. They know. Because the franchises come in and tell them, this is not easy. The franchises come in and tell them, I've sat in these meetings too with these franchises, and they tell them, no, the percentages of making this is really, really low. But you've got to work hard. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to have backup plans. These franchises tell them. So they go into this knowing that stuff. But they don't tell them in the meetings when they're at a rep camp, now this is too hard, can you guys just go? It's too hard. No, they warn them of the percentages. They warn them of how hard it is. They warn them of the grind that you have to take, the injuries that come along with it, the circumstances of life that comes into it, and they tell them this is what happens, but you just got to grind through it. If you can last out the grind, then you can get there. So it's kind of disappointing. Kind of disappointing it comes from Israel Day. And really pissed me off, to be honest. And the thing is that he's just saying year 14. He doesn't even understand. They're still 17-year-olds. I went back for year 14. I don't turn 18 until August. And I've explained so many times on here, you put a 17-year-old, and I used to work at the clubs for 12 years as a bouncer. So many times 17-year-olds came out because they went to university with a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, and then they all try to come out, and then he's the fella that's standing outside. Oh, cuz I'll just wait out here for you, bro. The bouncer said, no, I can't come in. That's the 17-year-old. Standing around the streets in town. The work guys go out to have a bit of a drink on a Friday night or go out to town. No, the brother's going to have to stay out. Bro, you can't, bro. Also, he doesn't have an ID, he's 17, bro. He's going to have to stay out here. You're telling that 17-year-old kid, hanging out with the adults, hanging out with the uni students that are all of age, he's the one that's left out on the street. Now, if he just went back to high school like some of them want to do, they're still with their age group. They're still with people in their age group. There's some safety in that. Some of these kids are scared to go out there. And don't say like, oh, you got to tough it out because we toughed it out. I say, no, have a different approach now. Don't try and be that tough guy. It's just like, why? I had to tough it out. No, you got to tough it out. Like, no. Give them another option because it sucked when we had to try and tough it out. I'm not even saying do everything for them, but I'm just saying if there's an avenue of a different way you can do it, why not take that avenue? Now they have a responsibility when they go back to school. Be an asset to the school. Be an asset to the players that you're around. Be an asset to the younger students that are there. Be an asset to the teachers. But don't tell them don't go. You shouldn't be there. Oh, that's cheating. No, they're still 17-year-old kids. Just because they completed their years in high school and you're saying you should finish now, it doesn't mean that they've learned everything. It doesn't mean they're prepared for adult life. We're idiot 20-something, 30-something, 40-something, 15-year-olds, 50-year-olds that all still make mistakes now. So why try and make these kids, get these kids out there on this, living adult life when half of us don't even know how to do it properly? And yet we can make it better for them by keeping them another year if they want to come back another year. Help them with their dreams, and you're saying no because that's cheating. You're not allowed to do that. Under 18, man. Calm yourselves down. He's still a kid. I just don't get it. Pretty disappointed, to be honest. And I'm glad I didn't talk too long on this. That's why it's 33 minutes. Anyways. Anyways, talking about the year 12 prospects, I want to talk about that because I have been asked, who do I think is going to make New Zealand secondary school as a year 12? Now, obviously, one's already made it with Nico. And Nico Stanley, this year deserves it. Last year, I already said my piece last year, and I don't think a year 11 should have been in there, not just because he wasn't good, because he was good, and I was already saying that, but I thought there were better, more experienced players, as well as he's just a young, physical guy that still needs to be protected. Because he wasn't just playing just like normal 18-year-olds. He was playing rep 18-year-old players. Like, you can get away with it in school because just because that other guy is 17, 18, it doesn't mean that he can hit hard or that he's good at tackling and, he can run it straight without, protecting himself and smashing, all that kind of stuff. But when you get into reps, like playing Australia or playing the under 18 Māoris, Barbarians, like all the kids on the park are good. Everyone knows how to play. That was my thing. This year, Rico will make it again, as he should. Now, I think Te Ariki Rogers, even from right now, I think he should make it. And it's not just because of how big and huge he is. It's not that. I look at his work rate around the rucks and his physical presence in contact. And that's contact with tackling as well as contact with cleaning out and contact with running the ball. Running it as hard as he can is one thing, but then his ability to stay on his feet, like sort of like a league player, and then assess his options and then not make mistakes. Like, the cool thing about Te Ariki is that he doesn't waste his time on 50-50s. He used to do it quite a bit last year, and that's just like a year 11, excited to be there. I just want to run it straight at everybody and see what happens. This year, he's got a lot more control, and to me, using his physicality the right way, using his ability to smash players off, engage contact in players, and then look for that next pass or look for that next, that kind of thing, I like a lot. And I think that he can even do that if he was to play league. And he'd be put up in, as a front rower. He, to me, would make that same impact playing the middle of the field. But I have a feel. I think he would be one that would make it this year too, just judging off what this is. And I think the way that New Zealand secondary schools team is run, and the way that they have selectors come in and out, I think everyone should be scrapped. That's pretty much how it is, because you got new selectors, you got new people run the team, you got new coaches. And now it's a clean slate of everybody. So anyone that has made it last year should forget about last year and go, okay, everyone is new again. We just have to prove ourselves again, and not take it for granted that you go, oh, well, I made it last year, I should probably make it this year. I've seen a lot of players that haven't made it the second year when they've made it the first year. And Te Ariki Rogers, I think he's a perfect fit to me right now. I mean, I might change my mind over the next couple of months and come into rep season and stuff like that, because everyone gets better from year 12 to year 30, and everyone can get better as well. I mean, we've seen a bunch of guys now. Calvin Harris-Tavita as a fullback from Kings, I think he has a massive chance of making it. And the only reason why I don't think he would is, for one, he's a league player, and I heard, and this is just hearing, not saying that this is true, I've just heard that he's part of the Broncos program, and depending on what his contract is, whether he gets selected or not, it'll be like a Seal Cully kind of situation and how he did it. Maybe I should just do it like Tavita no Fahu. Just make New Zealand secondary schools inside over. I don't know, one of those kind of things. But Calvin Tavita Harris, I would definitely pick him if that was the case, because I would see him maybe fullback wing, but then he would have to beat up guys like, I guess like Noah or Nathan. I think if Nathan makes it from Hamilton Boys High. But yeah, like all these other guys that he would have to sort of like even Hunter will be another one from Palmy. Like those guys will be ones that he'll have to try and play out and maybe try and get on the wing or fullback or something like that, But he'll be another guy. Maxwell Cutter is another one from Hamilton Boys at second 5. Even though him and Ollie have had it off and on, they play good individually, but sometimes it doesn't link up the same. I mean, like Saturday's game wasn't a good example of that. they played good in spurts, but it wasn't all the way impressive. But Maxwell Cutter is definitely a guy that I'd probably look at. Guys that will probably Zacchaeus is probably another one, Schwalger, but I think with him there's going to be a call for him to be in the front row. And I know what people are going to make. I know that people are going to make that comparison with him and his dad, but I don't think it's that way, because Zacchaeus already is a lot more mobile and like he's got so much more agility than whatever, way more than what his dad ever did, because he can explode off the blocks, he can break the defensive line and then step up a couple of gears when he's on the run, things like that. And so I don't make that comparison. All I make the comparison is sort of his size, because he's got really big legs, he's got a really good upper body, triangle frame, and I can see him killing a whole bunch of other props because he's just too big and too strong. That kind of situation. I mean, you could say the same thing of Tiariki Rogers in terms of you could make him a prop if you wanted to. I just think Tiariki is a better fit at number 8 than what Zacchaeus is. And so if Zacchaeus came back, dropped heaps and heaps of, a good 10 kgs and packed on some real solid muscle, then we could be looking at another ace tier Jerry Collins, Xavier Rush kind of big boy fella, sort of like Thomas the Tank Engine, Wardren fella, that kind of thing, where he's just this big dude just mowing guys over with this massive physique. He could be a Victor Vito kind of guy. And a lot of people would just be looking at him and go, okay, once that physique comes in, if he, gets his physique over the summer, that's what we're looking at. Lafatofinga from down in Dunedin, from King's High School, either as a first 5 or fullback. And it's going to be interesting too to see what he actually, which one he actually is better at. I actually don't know which one he's better at, to be honest. I would play him at fullback, but there's no harm in putting him at first 5 as well, because I think that he can also play that role. So he's another one that could break through that way. Even Jonty. Jonty's another one. Leary from Christchurch Boys is an open side, who's had a big leap from last year to this year, especially in terms of his running game too when he gets the ball. But I think that he's going to have too many guys to compete with, especially at open side, that Barbarians could be a thing. And if he's Māori would be if he was Māori, I'll definitely get to him and go, hey, jump in our Under 18 Māori program and and come make us better too, because he's a perfect kind of guy as well. Or Mason Nicklin, in my rankings, and I had to explain it to a bunch of guys, and it was my fault, because I know I was reading their names, but I was seeing the faces differently, and I thought I had them the right way around. And I didn't change it for ages. I think it was just last week or the week before, and I finally realized what I was reading when I was reading their names and doing the rankings and stuff. I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even change it. So him as a prop, even when you watch his game against St. Thomas, just the same thing. Just real mobile, physical, just a big massive brute that is cleaning out guys, taking some big runs, helping out on defense, especially on the line. He offers a really big frame and target to either set up for another quick go or pick and go. But he's another one as well. Maybe a little bit of work on the scrummaging side, in terms of keeping that back and hip straight in that same kind of form without twisting. There's sometimes when he's up against a really good prop, he would have a little bit of twist to that hip where it drops a little bit, but then other than that, that's stuff that can be fixed up. Not major stuff that's not major. He'll get into if he makes a rep program, there'll be a forwards coach that'll go, oh, hold on bro, we just caught in this guy, come and help you out with this, and it'll be in half an hour fix kind of thing. just in terms of technique, but he'll be another one. Bishop Neal obviously is a guy from St. Thomas, but I don't really talk about him too much because he's a league player playing rugby and he seems to have his future already set. And in all honesty, people go, well, why isn't he ranked top 5? It's like, because he's not a rugby player. Like, even when you watch him play rugby, take away all the breaks, like especially in this last game where he scored 3 tries, was flipping way over. Just, if you want to go watch that, go it's on Essie's YouTube page. I'll post it up, but he scored 3 massive tries, man. He ran each of them for like 60 yards or something like that, just breaking through tackles and all that kind of stuff. But he doesn't play rugby. He runs rugby league. But if you watch him around the rucks and stuff like that, he just doesn't participate. I don't know if he doesn't know how to or when to, or no timing and stuff like that. And it's like not really his fault because rugby's not really his game. He just plays it. He just plays it just to keep up with his fitness and his sharpness and get his competitive juices up and things like that, because he's probably the best maybe attacking player that we have this year. And I was told he was a young year 13, not a year 12. He was a young year 13, meaning that if he wanted to come back next year, he would still be 17 and turning 18 that year, for all you guys that believe that dumb stuff that everyone says. So that's him. Triumph Voice is another one. I don't think he'll make New Zealand secondary schools, but Hurricanes, yes, I think he'll make it. Like these kind of guys. Brady Tate's another one that I think is massive. Malachi Hafok is another one too. The first 5 for St. Peter's. Real interested to see what he could do next year, because even this year, like the games that I've seen him, it's like, damn, this dude can move the ball too, reads the game real well. Anthony Wijapranada, he's the hooker. Samoan Thai, from what I was told. So I don't know what that last name, how to say it properly, sorry bro. But he's a beast, and I think he'll be one of the leading hookers next year. Him along with Jackson Hill Brown from St. Paul's Collegiate, those two be massive. But yeah, these are just some of those players, and like I said, like these are just my picks, my opinions, all that kind of stuff. And when it comes to New Zealand secondary schools, they bring in a new coach, bring in new selectors, bring in a new thing. So like, to me, it's just wipe the slate of whatever happened last year. Don't forget that you made a rep team, or forget that you made this and that. You'll have a better chance in your under 18 Crusaders, Chiefs, Blues area team than you would in New Zealand secondary school, because all those coaches are new, but all your developing managers and stuff in your franchises are still there, the old ones, and they will have a better idea of how you are as a player. But those are all the guys that I think about a lot when it turns to rep talk, and when it turns to leading guys for next year, all that kind of stuff. I quickly want to, I have like really long-winded when I talk about these things, but I want to talk about the Moascar Cup, because
oh my god.
Moascar Cup, right? Doesn't get enough respect. Doesn't get a lot of shine. Kids don't really know what it is because it doesn't get passed around, and teams sit on it for ages. What the Moascar Cup should do right now, and whoever takes care of that stuff, is that when Rotorua Boys loses it, whoever the next person that holds it, the new rule should kick in that it should be put up every single game, so that every game that the Moascar Cup is in, of the team that holds it, is on Moascar event. So that kids can keep hearing what this Moascar Cup is. And it has made a big deal. And you will also find that in pre-season, there should be a pre-season month, like later in, like most teams start in May. So let's say pre-season's in April, pre-season games 2 weeks out from May. It should be your last two pre-season games. That's when the Moascar should start being put up, because you should have the balance of your team already by then. But that should be put up all the time, every single game that is played, to whoever wants to play for it. And the reason why I say that is because it gets forgotten, because schools hold it for so long. Hamilton Boys holds it for so bloody long. So long. I think Grammar was another one that held it for so long. Christchurch Boys held it for a long time. I think Hastings Boys had it for a long time. I can't really remember, but it has to be passed around. It has to be mentioned. It has to be talked about all the time of when this Moascar Cup game is happening. Let's say the next holder who has it has the understanding that if we win it off Rotorua Boys, our next game we have to put this up and we have to fight for that, for it to stay here. Every game should be a fight for it to stay there. I just think that it's ridiculous to have a trophy that is supposed to mean so much get forgotten, and the only school that really knows that it exists is because you're the school that holds it. And everyone else is like, oh, is it a Moascar Cup? Oh, they have the Moascar Cup. Like, that's what this cup is like right now. Because like, oh, I didn't know that they had it. Like, is this the one that is this the cup that, oh no, it's not that, oh, is this like a shield? And then people just like don't even know what it is and what the story is. So for it to be kept alive and to be kept talking about, and for it to be, it's like, remember, teams, first 15 teams change every year. So new kids have to start knowing about it. But you can't do that when it's hidden in one school, because they only give 6 challenges a year, and the 6 challenges that they have is just like, oh, well, it's not even going to leave this year. You know, it's like that situation. It's like, no, have every single game the Moascar Cup game. Make it a hard one. You fight for it every single game. Hold that intensity in your games. Hold that intensity in your trainings. Keep the boys on a high alert that this is something that we should keep and we should cherish. And try and finish the year with it. But it needs to be made more of a deal, you know, like, I think a lot of boys in first team rugby don't even know that it kind of exists, to be honest, until they have to play for it, or the coach reminds them, no, this is like a Ranfurly Shield, and sometimes some kids don't even know what a Ranfurly Shield is. So it has to change. Something has to be different, and whoever takes care of that kind of stuff, like, got to do something about it. I mean, even the way that Rotorua Boys won it, like, just pure physicality, pure grinded out, chopped down on mistakes, over physical a little bit, but that's just how Rukura and Hamilton play against each other. And it's not just a one-way thing, it's both ways. Hamilton Boys are definitely a physical team that will work, and the Rotorua Boys just had that on Saturday. And you know, like, it's a good thing that the cup is passed along, and just it needs to be put up again. It needs to be put up soon. Let people know that it's around and that it exists and that it's special, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah. Now that I've talked for most of it already, how about we try and get through some games, like obviously that St. Pat's messy game, Silverstream and Wellington. Messy game, both came under that umbrella of like we have to deal with the same kind of things, and it was just one of the heaps of, all that kind of stuff and heaps of mistakes, heaps of slippery ball, all that kind of thing. Southland as well over at Otago Boys. I don't think I've seen a 43-12 in that kind of game before. Southland and Otago Boys, that's a big one. And that's one of those rival ones that should be on TV. To me, I'm all about rivals. It's like, put those ones on TV. Or put those on live stream and get everybody to come and see that. Because that was a big game. Palmy New Plymouth was a good one. That Westlake Boys, Rangi Toto one, I don't know. Because that's a similar to Otago Boys Dunstan situation, the Westlake and Rangi Toto. The only difference right now with this is that Westlake are one of the best teams in the country and they lost to Rangi Toto. And Rangi Toto is a young team. They got some young players. And you just never thought that it was going to happen into, one of those. But also it was leading to that, they had that Whangarei Boys draw, hard game against Rosa. Also Massey, the one that I came up to at Westlake, even that game was a bit of a fight back and forward before they controlled it. That kind of stuff. But that was a real surprising one to me, I reckon. King's College and Grammar. Honestly, I don't go to that game because it gets uncomfortable. And especially when the game's at Grammar and everyone knows who's been to Auckland Grammar. Where are you going to park, man? Where are you parking? You go down, you're going to park in St. Peter's, and even then, it's like you go down to Newmarket or something. It's like there's nowhere to park. Nowhere to park. Parking on the mountain, It's weird. But send me the game. Oh, has it been sent to me? Anyway, send it to me if you've got it. Let me have a watch. I'm always interested. I've always seen them, but it's just uncomfortable. St. Kennigan's Dilworth, 71-5. Again, go and look for the Marlborough Boys College in St. Thomas. Really good game. Really, really good game. De La Salle. This is actually surprising. This 24-10 Sacred Heart De La Salle was this Catholic boys school battle, but I actually thought Sacred Heart was going to run over them and drop a bit of a 40-pointer, 50-pointer on them. But it's cool to see that De La Salle is improving, because De La Salle is going to be a problem next year. A bunch of you guys out there that's saying they're having a hard year, just wait. This is all about building, because these guys are building for next year, and it's going to be massive. These guys are going to be so good. Christchurch boys just doing their thing as they go along. Tauranga and Napier boys, I thought was a bit too close. I thought Tauranga left some tries out there. A bit of weak defense too. I thought it would be better. Same thing with Hastings Gisborne boys. Feeling Lindasan, haven't watched yet, but I will watch soon. Someone send me that St. Peter's and St. Paul's game, because I'm really interested in seeing that. As well as the Liston Mags. If you've got a Liston Mags game, can you please send that one too? Whoever's got it. But St. Paul's Collegiate against Francis Douglas. And Francis Douglas is a good side. They got psyched out right at the beginning, and it went on from there, and just St. Paul's is just pretty relentless. They got some really hard-working guys, especially in that the 6-7 situation that they have there. Obviously, I talked about Jackson. Chris is another problem as well. Having Quintus and flipping Redhead out there. What's your name, bro? Man, so many names. Too many names, but the second five, he looks like KJ Upper. Bro, he's mean, bro. Such a good player. He's another one. And even like, I think it's Harry Gilmos at the back. He's been playing a lot better than what I thought he would be. I wasn't saying it was going to be terrible, but it was like he's starting to really own that and so if Lucas comes back, whenever Lucas is back, Lucas Hale, whenever he's back, what are they going to do? Because that's a lot of players to move around, but they're all kind of working at the moment, and so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, send me as much games as you can. Remember, I had 31 games last week, because it's the most I've ever had over a weekend. A lot of rugby to watch. A lot of rugby. Heaps of skip when everyone's standing around doing, scrums and it doesn't work, it collapses, skip, just so I can watch the action, all the action going on. Skip, pass injuries, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, I'm Herschel from High School Top 200. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, just ask, send through questions and whatever. Also, I'm planning on getting some boots. And I'm getting some boots because I want to give away some boots, but I'm only going to buy boots for guys like myself who found it hard to find boots. And I'm going to get in touch with some of the professional guys that I know that have come through High School Top 200 as well. They may have some big boots lying around but I was size 15 and I still am. So I'm going to buy some big boots and then try and give them away. So anyone that you know that wears size 15 or 14 or 16 or 13, you can still buy 13s at the shop, right? Tell them to hit me up and let me know, because then I know what I can ask for and who to ask and all the guys that are all professionals, and see what happens. Anyways, love you all. Later, ball.